Y'all read the title right, so I'm just gonna get straight to the point. Starting with King Slime. I think King Slime is like a very watery guy. Plasma to give him that slimy nature, and he's got that crown of gems on him, so I'm also gonna give him the crystal element. Alright, I'm happy with that. Unless there's anything else we want to give him. Like, I don't think there's anything that represents the ninja inside him. Oh well. Next up is Eye of Cthulhu. This one's kind of hard because he doesn't really, I guess water, since he's got to moisten somehow. And I'm thinking psychic because if you look at the Crivlatium Crocus, or actually just Psychic Island in general, there's these giant eyeballs floating around. I feel like that's like the closest thing to it. And I want all these early game guys to have at least 3 elements to make them up. So what could possibly, I guess bone for a second phase with the teeth. Yeah, let's give him bone. Yeah. Next up is the Eater of Worlds. So I don't think there's an element that really resembles evil. I feel like the closest thing to that is shadow. So that's gonna go there. This one's kind of tough because like the corruption is morely known for its like rot and decay, but would that really count as poison? I don't think that counts as poison, you know? That's like something entirely different. Eater of Souls and Plasma is usually associated with like ghosts. I could give him bone for the teeth, but like I feel like so many people have teeth that doesn't even make them up, you know? Yeah, let's go back to Eye of Cthulhu. Let's put bone back and give him shadow for it because he drops Demonite, you know? Back to Eater of Worlds. I'm a little stumped on this one. Perhaps the Dipster element, since he burrows through the ground? I'll leave it like that for now. Brain of Cthulhu. Obviously, he's gonna get evil. I don't think there's any elements that resemble like blood and guts and gore. He's got psychic powers sometimes with those illusions, so psychic's definitely one. Does Ichor count as poison? A fluid that flows like blood in the veins of gods. So technically, would you get Titan Soul? But you're not that strong. You're just one piece of a greater whole. That is a god. I suppose water? Because if we think about it, he looks very moist. And he's all about blood and stuff, you know? We'll give him these 3 for now. Now, Skeletron. Obviously we're gonna give him bone, because he's a skeleton. He's probably like really old, you know, so let's give him ruin. He's associated with the old man, who is also very old, because his name is the old man. It's not like he's controlling anyone. Oh, you know what? Water, because he spawns those water casters. And the legendary element I'm reserving for, you know, content creator X crossover content, which, you know, he's got that hat for chippy gaming, you know. Am I okay with this though? Yeah, I'll leave it like that. Our first 4 elementer, technically 3, because Skeletron alone. We'll do 3, and then this is legendary for counting that. Torch God. Well, there's God in the name, so there's gotta be Titan Soul. And fire. How about that? He's the very first boss, so I feel like he should only have 2, you know. The Queen Bee. This one might be another tough one. There is that term hive mind, so they all might just be one conscious, but would that be psychic or control? First of all, let's do poison, because she can poison you with the stingers. Air for the wings of flight, and then Dipster, because you only find them in the underground jungle, maybe? Okay, we'll leave it like that for now. Deerclops. Getting that crossover content star. We got Cold over here, and he's not evil like the evil bosses, but he does spawn those shadow hands. So there is that. That was kind of easy. Wall of Flesh. When you defeat the Wall of Flesh, he unleashes darkness and light into the world. So those two have to be a must. Maybe Ruin because he is super old. He's probably like one of the first beings in the Terraria world. Fire for the battle taking place in the underworld, but like I don't think he has any like flaming attacks. So would that technically not count? Now Wall of Flesh is one of the bigger bosses, so I want him to at least have like 4 elements. I guess he can set you. I think he can set you on fire with his lasers. So yeah, that would count. There we go, 4 elements. Let's go. The Wyvern. Air and I would do Celestial, but they're morely in the sky, in the atmosphere, than in space itself. But he can be in space, so. But it's not like he's a cosmic being or anything. So this one is. I'm kind of stumped on this one too. Perhaps. I mean, it is a. He's not even a mini boss, but technically, he is one of the stronger enemies. Maybe Fairy, because wyverns are associated with fairy tales and stuff. I wouldn't say he's primordial, but oh well. We'll leave it like this for now. Sand Elemental. I think they could either be Earth or Primordial Earth. I don't think the lore hints at Sand Elemental being a part of a super greater whole. Maybe they're just sentient sand. Earth for sure. Air for the tornado attacks. Maybe Ruin? Nah. I'm gonna give them life formula just because they're probably an inanimate object brought to life, you know. Am I okay with this? All right. Next up is Ice Golem. Snow, obviously. Probably gonna give them life formula too because they're probably just ice under control. But I don't think they're being controlled by someone, you know. I think they just have a mind of their own. I would be okay with the double element for Ice Golem, but Sand Elemental has 3 elements, and I feel like these two are basically equals. What do we know about the Ice Golems? They spawn in blizzards, they spawn into snow. There's no ice element because that's just cold. They shoot a big fat laser, but that could also just be cold. Frost Fire, but he's not in your dreams. He doesn't have any association with the moon. He's not underground. He's not a cosmic entity, and he's not from any crossovers. Oh my lord. I'll get back to this one. Goblin Warlock. I think they got Shadow Flame abilities, so Shadow Flame, and they control these apparitions above her. This is one of the more fun ones to think about. The Mimic. Now they could all be together, but you only ever see one individually. So here's what we'll do. Obviously, they're a hoax because they meant to trick you to think that there's treasure. Crimson and Corruption go hand in hand. They're both evil, so we can just give them both Shadow. Plant for the jungle and Light for, or could it? I need like a front view of you. Do you have crystals coming out of you? Those do look like crystals. And you drop crystal themed weapons. Let's do crystal. But all of you drop different stuff. This is hard. Light for being hollow, crystal for dropping crystal weapons. But then I have to count for all of the other guys. You drop cursed flame weapons, so fire goes to you. I mean, all of them have some kind of bone coming out of them. So I guess bone for you. Technically, bone and flesh go hand in hand if you think about it. And then Jungle Mimic, I've never fought one before. And you just drop a bunch of random stuff. Jungle Mimic, you got me so confused. I think it's time we make our first exception. This is the flex element, and it does not discriminate, which means it could be anything it wants. So there's that for your random drops. All right, I'm pretty much happy with this. Queen Slime. Immediately, crystals. Plasma for its stickiness. Water for bath water. And light for hollow. Oh, but then you have too much. I don't think... No, you're not goopy. Because you're more bouncy than goopy. So put that back. Water stays because you're a slime. Light for hollow. And then I want to say... Due to these angelic wings, we're going to give him or her air. Alright, I'm pretty much happy with this. Dread Nautilus. We're gonna do Shadow because Shadow is the closest thing to fear, and you know, Dread is in the name. Water because you are a Nautilus. Taking a sip of my coffee. Depths because you're only fished in the blood moon, and so technically you exist, you just can't be fished up, which means you must be deep underwater. And you only go near the surface level and be fishable when it's during the blood moon. So there's our first depths element. The Flying Dutchman and its captain counterpart. Would it be alright to give him mech? Because the Flying Dutchman's basically... I mean, it's a very primitive machine. We're gonna give him bone for the skull insignia. The ship does give off sparkly particles, but would that be more towards light or fairy? I feel like light would be more towards hollow theme stuff, and fairy, you know, pixie dust and whatever. But pixies are also hollow. They're more hollow than anything. No, but pixie, come on. Pixie dust is sparkly, just like light. And they have achieved flight somehow. So I would also give them air. Because it's not like you're made of air, you're just using the air. I think I'm gonna give him mech because if we think about it, the mech quad Vention, he's also made of like wood and a bunch of other non-conventional machinery. He's like the least sci-fi that has mech in it, so I'm happy with this. The Destroyer, obviously getting mech. I feel like it's summoned using Souls of Night will also warrant a spook element or a shadow element. And then I would probably give him the Dipster element because of its burrowing nature, such as the Eater of Worlds. And it's based off the Eater of Worlds too, so... I want to give him 4. We're getting into like mid-game bosses, so obviously they're going to be more complex as you progress through the game, or they should be more complex. So, he's meant to be the spine of a reimagined Cthulhu, so he's not old. He's not deceiving you in any way. He could be controlling the pros, but I'm pretty sure they're just running on their own AI and just shooting you around. I think the death lasers can set you on fire. I guess you get fire as well. Skeletron Prime, obviously mech. Their summon recipe needs Souls of Light and Souls of Night. So that's 3 off the board. And technically you do fire more lasers. I don't think I should give him bone because he's obviously all metal even though he represents a skeleton. But the crafting recipe, and it uses bone too if we're going by the logic of the Souls of Night and Light in this crafting recipe, so maybe I should give them bone? I'll give them bone as a last resort until I can think of anything better. Okay, bone for now. We'll give them bone for now. The twins, I could do the same thing with the mimics and give them both separate stuff, but I feel like in the case of twins, they're more of a package deal because in My Singing Monsters, there are a few monsters that are literally 2 monsters together, such as Denchas, Bisonorus, Bon Appetit. So this will just be 1. Mech, obviously. Cursed Fire goes to you due to your flamethrower nature, and you take Souls of Light in your recipe, so. But is that fair to base them on the item that summons them? I should probably base it off of the real thing instead of the summoning item. Unless we had electricity. Yeah. I feel like instead of basing them off of their crafting recipes, they should have electricity, because I feel like the lasers are more electric than fire, and you shoot a ton of death lasers, so then this would make sense. But then we have to go back to the other two. I'm gonna keep Shadow because you're obviously meant to be scary considering you drop Souls of Fright. Put back Light and put in Electricity. And then for you, put back Shadow and put in Electricity. Alright, I'm more happier with this. Frost Legion. Snow. I know Frost Legion isn't any kind of boss or mini boss, but I mean, they exist. It is an event by itself, so... And how could you not like these guys? Mr. Stabby's like literally my favorite Terraria enemy, like ever. But no, literally, how could you not like these mafia gangsters that are also snowmen? Christmas! By technicality, you can only get their snow globe at Christmas, and they're meant to be fought during Christmas. Okay, I'm fine with these. If all these guys are just individually like elemented, then I'm fine with just 2 elements for each and every one of them. The Scraggler. You know, I've only seen this guy like in like 2 of my playthroughs. I got him to move in. I'd say he's comparable to like Calamitus's power. So he gets that sweet Titan Soul God element. And Hoax, because he's a very deceiving man. And he also likes throwing parties, so there we go. Plantera. Obviously we're gonna have plant. I would put primordial plant, but like it's not like, I mean, you're a strong plant, but I feel primordial plant is too strong for Plantera. I believe Plantera can venom you, so get that sweet venom in there. And then the Echoes of Eco, because if not primordial plant, then Echoes of Eco would be the next step up. And then the Dipster element, just because you solely like being underground. I like this quad system going on here for the major bosses. Any last minute things we want to add? No, I'm cool with this. These 4 elements definitely fit Plantera. Mothron. You come from the solar eclipse, which is the sun covered by the moon. I might give her legendary just because they're morely a reference to a like a really old kaiju movie. Paladin. This one is a little hard. They're definitely no god. I will give them life formula since they're reanimated. Not mech since they're not a machine. Are they being controlled? I think they're very old. I believe they come from another prosperous era before the dungeon became the dungeon. So ruin, and I don't think anything represents gold. God damn, this recording's 50 minutes long. We're not even halfway. And plasma, I would say. But something's gotta count for this metal plating, right? I feel like plasma isn't enough. I think I should probably give him earth, because his armor is basically a very dense metal. Now for Golem, should I give them the Titan Soul element because they're idolized as a god? But they're technically not a god. They're just an idol. First of all, they strike me as very old. Just look at how decrepit he looks. You gain your power from the sun. Golem has fists of fire and some form of fire breath. And then mech, since he's a construct. Would I change anything? You know what? He's made of lizard bricks. So could this be our first quint elementer? Alright. I'm gonna keep him as our first quint then. Morning wood, Halloween element. Gotta put the Halloween element. You're a tree, so that. And you're technically a mini boss, so you don't have to be too complex. Oh, and you shoot fire. Yeah. Alright, I'm happy with that. The Pumpkin. Now what do I do for the Pumpkin? You got vines. You're not a tree, so I'm gonna give you plant for your viney arms. Obviously Halloween. I think their design is meant to characterize a bit of dread, so shadow. And I think they should be one more element above Morningwood, since they are the final boss of the Pumpkin Moon. Pumpkin Moon! No way. Oh, but you shoot fire. Get rid of Shadow. Because Spooktical is already like spooky. He's more spooky than scary. And fire. You shoot molten blades and you fire things from your mouth. But that thing in the middle. Ah. No. No bone for you, because I feel like that's more of an accessory than the pumpkin himself. Everscream, Christmas Elements, and Eco. You're a tree and you're from Christmas. And if Morningwood, so this is the Christmas equivalent of Morningwood. So, and Morningwood got 3 elements, so I have to give you 3 elements as well. You shoot ornaments and you machine gun your pines. So plants, but then that's eco, and you're also a tree. Oh, cold? No, you don't have any cold attacks necessarily. Your ornaments are manufactured, but they're not machined. What could I do for you? I think given the name, it's safe to assume that they scream a lot, and that could be terrifying if you don't know like what the source is. Sand tank. Now this warrants a mech element. Maybe a hoax too. I mean, it's obvious that he's evil because it's Santa with a machine gun on treads, but I'm thinking more of the lines of him spawning in with a normal Santa mask, and his second phase you rip his face off and it reveals this animatronic beast of a face. So I think hoax could be a good one. And then Christmas. Ice Queen, you're getting Christmas. You are the final boss. I'm gonna give you the Frost Moon because you're the frostiest of the 3 Christmas bosses. We're gonna give you cold, and what else can you do? You can fly, but you're not using wings. You're just levitating and gliding around. That means you're using the air around you, but you're not air itself. Nothing about you speaks air. Crystal maybe, because the ice packs a punch, and I feel because the ice packs a punch that it's as dense as like literal diamonds. And also there is a gemstone symbol on her crown? Face? You know what I mean. Anyways, next up is Duke Fishron. First and foremost, water. What can they do? They spin around, shoot a bunch of bubbles, and make shark tornadoes. I'm gonna give him depth. I mean, that's where he probably lives, right? Like somewhere in the abyss. If we go by the hybrids, dragon, pig, shark, but that still leads me nowhere. I guess I could give you plasma because your final phase, you're like the most elusive thing ever, having the ability to like teleport and stuff. But is that really Duke Fishron teleporting, or is it just him being like sneaky and fast and getting to places as he's hunting you down? I feel like if Golem has 5 elements, Duke should also have 5. Everything here is fish related. This doesn't help me at all. Then I think of the monster Anglo, but he's just mythical, and I don't think Duke Fishron has anything to do with the moon. But he spawns Cthulhu Nados, Cthulhu to Moonlord. Moonlord, moon, A? Let's do air, because he has wings. What if we put water back and give him primordial water instead? Because they do have a lot of control and experience with water-based attacks, like literally making water tornadoes. I don't think they're very old, so they don't get ruined. They're not deceiving me. They're not controlling anybody. They have teeth for bone, but that can go with literally anybody. I suppose being part dragon, he's like part of folklore, so maybe fairy. This is probably the most confusing one. Like, I want the further bosses that are up in progression to have like more complex like elements, you know? Otherwise I feel it'd be like way too straightforward, like just water. I guess I'll leave it like this for now. Martian Saucer, you're getting that mech element. I feel like the Martian Saucer is strong enough to be a quad elementer. Electricity, that's definitely one. He does release a bunch of sparks when you wear him down. The death beam he does is essentially concentrated light, Let's think about what he does, actually. He makes a death laser. He throws a barrage of homing rockets. He has a built-in laser machine gun. Ooh, you know what? They come from space. So, celestial then. Yeah, this might be it. Now, Empress of Light. Empress of Light. Due to your fairy-like nature, you also get fairy. Ooh, and you have a pizzazz of color, so sky painting would be really nice for you. I want this to be a 5 elementer too. You do have that sun dance attack. I don't want to do fire because I feel like they're a step up from that. I mean, her attire does look like it's made of crystals, but I think it's more fabric. Or like or like some ethereal fabric than crystals. The Jewel of Night, that's crystal, and that summons a baby version of her, so that confirms that her attire is somewhat crystal. Hell yeah. Dark Mage. You know, dark. We're gonna do Bone for your skeleton necromancy. We're gonna give you a book. Something tells me you really like books, so we're gonna give you the Mind Boggle. And then crossover content. That's a quad. But like you're the first guy. I don't think anything about you is really dark, so you got a sweet triple right there. Ogre. I feel like this is gonna be a really hard one. I'm lost on what to do for you. You throw gooey spit. That's one. You're holding what appears to be a tree. No, but that's not him. That's just what you're holding. That's an accessory. Like your sandals, bro. You probably eat a lot, so Feast Timber goes to you. Crossover content. One more. I want you to be quad because you're one step up from the Dark Mage. Damn! According to the Dungeon Defenders 2 wiki, it says that he has the ability of Slime Toss. It's most likely similar, if not the same consistency as King Slime, which we did give him the Water Plasma combo. There we go. Betsy. Obviously fire, you got Fire Breath. You got Wings of Flight. That's another. Crossover content. Dragons are characterized as folklore, so you get that. And if you're one above Ogre and you are the final boss of the Old One's army, then I'd prefer you to be a Quint. I was gonna do Control, but you lead minions to the Old One's army. You don't mind control them. Does not deceive, does not control. You know what? You do come, this could be like, you do come from another world, but then I would have to give everyone the depth element. I suppose we could do light because your fire attacks are that much more devastating than just plain fire. This one was another hard one, but let's move on. Lunatic Cultist. So you got a lot going on here. You have ice attacks, you have lightning attacks, you have dark attacks, you control some of these things, and you have fire attacks. This might just been the easiest one. What the hell? I don't think you're old. I think you're probably just an average looking dude behind this mask. But I don't think you're immortal. Editing me here, I can't believe I missed this, but he has that one attack where he has the clones and you have to shoot the right one, otherwise he'll spawn a dragon. So I think that's more fitting for Hoax, which would be more fitting than Control because I feel like every one of his summons are just rampant and do their own thing. So there we go. Okay, I'm okay with this. This one was actually pretty easy. Solar Pillar. We're gonna go Fire, Power of the Sun, and Earth. How about that? Solar Pillar as a whole. Vortex Pillar. If we're thinking vortexes, they could also be black holes, and they have a lot of depth in them. Oh, hold on, let's go back. Celestial. They're part of the lunar event, so all of them must have some sort of celestial property to them. Back to Vortex. You got a lot of insects. Oh, yeah. This pillar shoots lightning, a ton of lightning. And then Control to represent a form of a hive mind. And then Celestial, of course. Gotta give it Celestial. But I'm more questioning the control aspect. We'll leave it like that for now. Nebula Pillar. I feel like this one is the most psychic of the four. Because, look, exposed brain, here, and that's probably a brain. I'm assuming their lasers and their projectiles are just concentrated forms of light. Celestial is obvious. I'm trying to think of what else. I guess these three guys are like sea creatures, like jellyfish or octopus. But that doesn't account for these two. You're just a freaking werewolf. And you're just some random dude. Perhaps Mind Boggle. That goes hand in hand with all the brain theme going on. Now Stardust Pillar, Celestial, Light. This one might be a tough one. Stardust. Trying to think. Other than sparkles and the obvious lunar theme, what other two elements could you possibly have? Perhaps they have a bit of a water theme, but they have nothing to do with water. I'm just going off their anatomy. Like, that's obviously like an octopus. This is probably like an eel, but it has legs, so it's probably not an eel. It's more of like a centipede than anything. These guys represent like bubbles, but I feel like they're more insane in the membrane than they are bubbles. And then these guys are just spiders, which, you know what? They could be interpreted as crabs. I'm gonna pretend you're a crab, you're a bubble, you're an octopus, and you represent like an eel. Because these are probably not even your legs. They're probably just like your prickly armor of evolution. I don't know. But let's think of what they do, because you shoot twinkles, you split up and multiply. Money at them, multiply. You are an annoying one that shoots giant rockets of whatever you're shooting, and you just follow me. Oh, you know what? Since this is a summoning pillar, you bring things to life. Like the pillar itself spawns these worms out of thin air, and these guys can just multiply and bring life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they split up and they make more of themselves. So I think it's appropriate to give you the life formula. Like, you're making life. You're summoning. As a summoning pillar, I'm gonna assume you're summoning all these people. Okay, then I suppose I'm happy with this. Moon Lord, you're gonna get the Titan Soul because you are basically a god. You are very celestial. You have everything to do with the moon. You live there. Honestly, I think these three elements are enough because the Titan Soul really carries, you know? It doesn't matter how much elements you have. If you have Titan Soul, you basically have like one of the coolest elements. But if we had to add more, Cthulhu is a part of folklore. I don't want to complicate things. I'm happy with these three. Next up, we got removed content. You're Easter. Probably Easter is enough for you. I mean, what else could you be? I'm gonna give you snow because you're a bunny who has wait. Do you have fur, or are you bald? Do you have hair? I don't know if you have hair. Do you have God damn it. I'm gonna assume you have hair. Turquoise the Ungrateful, you're getting the Feastember for being based around Thanksgiving. You got some greens on you. You got a healthy salad going on down there. You're basically a rotisserie chicken, so something must have cooked you. So you're getting fire. I think that's good enough. I mean, if I remember correctly, back then when Turquoise existed, I believe they were around like Skeletron level of difficulty. I think you could cheese them just by walking away and they can't reach you. But that was so long ago. Holy moly. Now, Akram, the original final boss of Terraria before Moonlord and Duke Fishron. This one's kind of hard. You're definitely evil. I like to think you are you represent the brain. So psychic for you. I don't know what to do with you, actually. You are very old. You're like 1,000 years old. You look like you're poisoned. Going off of physical appearance. And you're around Golem level, so I feel you should be a Quint. Perhaps fire for its death laser spam. If anyone remembers fighting Akram back when he used to exist, he had this absolute machine gun comparable to destroyers, if not like more than destroyer. I think this is all right. And our final entry on our list is Mechdusa. Mech, of course. You spit cursed fire. I'm gonna give you hoax because you're supposed to be like Moonlord 2.0, even though you're not. You're like nowhere as strong. We're gonna have to go back to the mech bosses. Like, what do I give to the mechs? Honestly, I could just do all of these, but I feel like a boss like Mechdusa is very Quint worthy. I wouldn't say just combine all the elements of the mechs. I feel like that's just lazy. So yeah, let's go correct ourselves. I'm happy with King Slime, happy with Eye of Cthulhu. Oh, am I? Yeah, I'm happy with you. I am also happy with you, unless Vile Spit. Nah, we're good. Breen. Wait, aren't you the same thing? Oh my god. They have to be different. I gave Eye of Cthulhu and Brain of Cthulhu the same elements. I can't do that. That's like against the rules. You know what? Get rid of water. Mind Boggle. This is someone who would definitely play mind games with you. I'm happy with you as a triple, but if we're counting the Chippytron, which is Skeletron on another level, then I would be happy to make you a quad. So it's based on how y'all interpret it. Triple for normal Skeletron, quad for Chippytron. Torch God, I'm happy with. Yeah, I'm happy with you. Deerclops, I am happy with you. You, sir. I'd like to say I'm happy, but I feel like this could be interpreted in 1,000 different ways. So at least with this interpretation, like if someone were to tell me that these 4 were the elements for Wildflesh, I would not complain. You're fine. You're just a tier down from a mini boss, so you get a 2. You are also fine. Ice Golem though. Oof. I want you to be equals with Sand Elemental because that's literally the thing. You're not tricking me that you're something else. I mean, this is Ice being a man, but like it's showing you that it's a giant man. So it's not like it's pretending to. But the word pretend. Is it something? Hold up. Oh my god. Because if I were to give. Because you're pretending to be a man made of ice, then I would have to do the same thing with Sand Elemental, making you a quad. And I just want you to be triple. You do fire lasers, and I could do like frost fire, but that contradicts your entire being. Because if we look at examples such as twins, I gave them cursed fire because that's literally evil fire. These two together would make cursed fire. And by that logic, would fire work with you being frost fire? Ooh. I guess part of your composition is water? But that's literally what cold is. I need to put water back. I think you have more of a crystallized texture. It's like the same thought process as the Ice Queen. You, I am happy with. I guess I could replace Control. Oh, I'm happy. You, I'm pretty much happy with. Happy with you. You, though. Am I happy with you? Yeah, I'm happy with you. All right. You, I am maybe happy. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm happy with you. Destroyer. I could remove the Dipster element and replace it with something else, but then again, what would I replace it with? I suppose I'm happy with you. Same thing goes with Bone. You represent Bone, but you're not Bone at all. Ooh, you know what? Scratch Bone, put fire, because even though it doesn't show on this, if you fight Skeletron Prime in game, there are flame particles under his head. which indicates that he is rocket fueled and that's how he flies. I'm happy with you. Frost Legion, I'm happy with y'all. Scraggler, I am definitely happy with you. Nah, I'm not gonna put control because I'm assuming the other tentacles, they don't all have a mind of their own. They're still one being, you know. Nah, you're fine. Paladin, there's not much I could do with you, but I feel like Paladin's okay. I'm okay with Golem. Morningwood, I am fine with. Pumpkin, I am okay with as well. Alright, I'm fine with you. Yep, you're okay. Ice Queen, I think you're fine. And fine. Duke Fishron was probably like one of the hardest ones to do, but I think, oh my god, hold up. There's no way. Get rid of plasma. How could I forget water? Oh my god, I feel so stupid. Oh wait, but there's water. Ah, never mind. That's why I did that. Plasma. But why are you, oh, because of your elusive nature. Duke Fishron is a mixed bag. But if I replace plasma with shadow, you can kind of be translucent and hide in the shadows. And the double meaning of fear, I suppose you're okay. This one I think I'm most okay with. You're fine. You are all right for what you are. I think I'm okay. You're definitely okay. You're fine, you're fine, you're fine, and you are just okay. I wouldn't know what to do with you. You're okay. You know what? You could be a single element. Not gonna lie, you could be single element. You look hairless, so you don't even get the cold element. Turquoise, I feel is around Skeletron level, so that's fine. Yeah, you're fine for a final boss. And you, I am most definitely okay with. Alright, that's just about the end of the video. This is a very niche concept that I've thought about for a while, so why not make a fun, low stakes video on it. Hope y'all enjoyed. This turned out longer than I expected. And if I'm feeling up to it, I might do like a Calamity version or something. Or maybe some like other franchise. I don't know. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Woo!